Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 96 Boards Open Hours. Once again, sponsored by Lenaro, and my name is Robert Wolf. We're here from the 96 Boards team. A lot of fun stuff happening today because, as you may know, it's the new year, 2017, and to everyone, Happy New Year's. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season, and it's time to kind of, I guess, move on, right? But before we do that, if you joined because you saw some of our announcements or just because you come here every week, today we're going to be talking about what happened in 2016. Because in order to look forward, you have to look back, right? Learn from history. And around 96 boards, a lot of stuff has happened, and I have a lot of very exciting things to share with you. Now, not only am I going to share some of these things with you live here on the show, it will be recorded, and then I will be releasing a blog with I think I counted over 100 links. So if you want to comb through the 96 boards history of 2016, you're going to be able to go back and check out press releases, all sorts of different projects that have been pushed out, developers that have been recognized through hackathons, through contests, prize winners, different operating systems, builds that have been released throughout the year, all sorts of really cool stuff that the 96 boards team, as well as Lenaro and you, the community, have been participating in throughout all of 2016. So it's very exciting. I put a lot of time into this blog, and I mean, I'm very excited about it. So it's going to be I think it's going to be a fun one. I mean, not only just to read, but just to kind of just poke around and look at all the cool things that have happened. So starting off, I would like to kind of let you know that last week episode was not uploaded yet, and last week's episode was kind of a weird one because it's in the holiday season. It was right after Christmas. Lots of people are not working, and so there wasn't much to cover. However, we did have a nice talk with Mad Dog. Mad Dog was here. Mark Bolzering was on, and we kind of just talked a little bit about the show, actually. How we can progress in open hours, and we'll kind of get into where open hours is headed in 2017, because I mean, as you know, I mean, right now I see 25 people. That includes myself and some people from Lenaro. But this show has some great potential, and I've mentioned this several times in the past, but this show isn't for me, and it isn't for anyone in particular, right? It's for everyone. It's for you, the community, and our goal is to bring the community together. Not just enthusiasts, hobbyists, makers, developers alike. Everyone, we want to just bring everyone together and put you all in a room to discuss current tech around 96 boards and open source and all sorts of other cool things that you can think of. So please consider this as your channel, your means to get your ideas out as well. It's very informal. You can always speak up and bring your comments and interrupt me anytime. Basically, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, great. Now, in the efforts of looking back in the past, before I do that, I wanted to kind of open the floor. I don't know if anyone came with any particular questions surrounding our 96 boards. So I mean, again, like I said, you can interrupt, but if you did come with any particular questions, I would be glad to take some of these. We do have I see several people on here: David Mandala, Jorge, Daniel Thompson. Who else is in here? And then some of our core community members as well that can also help you out. So if you have any questions, please speak up while I take a sip of coffee. Nothing. Okay, great. Well, I do recognize a lot of your names in here, and I do know that we might have some things going on behind the scenes. So I'm really glad to see you all here. Now, what kind of stuff has happened in 2016? Let me pull up my little doc here because it's big. Great, we'll start in January and then kind of go down the list. And if you have anything you want to say, just interrupt. But in January, we saw quite a bit of announcements around 96 boards mezzanine kits. And this was basically when Arrow launched their Linker mezzanine kit. And I don't know if any of you have seen that one, but it's standing right here. it was one of the first mezzanines that I can remember, at least. I wasn't even part of the company in January. So I didn't even join until February of last year. But this linker mezzanine launched in 2016 in January. Let me see. I'm going to share this link. I should have shared this document with you, Christine, so that you could share these links. That's not the link right there. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Siobhan. Perfect. And so let me share this real quick. Christine, Siobhan. Oops. Perfect. All right. So that launched in 2016 January. All right, start over. Yeah, great mezzanine kit. Came with a bunch of really cool sensors. Pop it on top of your 96 boards. David Mandala at the time was working on integrating certain libraries. Maybe he can talk to that in a second, right after we finish January. But these libraries ended up allowing you to use your GPIOs, your I2Cs, libsoc, libmraa, and libupm were all integrated into this, and you could transfer your code throughout the 96 boards. I'm not sure if that was available at this time, but it did become available shortly after, and you were able to start controlling the I/O on your 96 boards. Very cool movement, right? And then what happened after that? Well, more mezzanines started coming out. More companies started biting onto this idea of a kind of a standardized footprint, right? So I mean, you can see behind me we have all these consumer edition boards. I mean, what's different about them? Well, they're chips, various other components, but the overall footprint and the ability for a manufacturer or someone to come in and just build something that clips on to every single one exists. And so companies really bid onto this, and it was a very cool thing. Also, in January as well, we were towards the end of releasing the Coursera course, which was focused around IoT and the DragonBoard 410C. So if you haven't seen that course, they do try to charge for it, and you can get around it by poking around. I haven't found the exact link to do that yet, but the Coursera course right there is a very interesting way to start getting involved with 96 boards. And you can go in there. There is over 500 videos. Now, I made most of these videos. I directed. We had this huge audio-visual crew there at UC San Diego, University of California, San Diego, here in California, San Diego, obviously. But we kind of sat there and just tinkered with the DragonBoard, messed with I/O, developed a voice over IP app, developed a multimedia application, worked with Android, worked with Debian, did all sorts of fun stuff there. John Mark just joined. He knows all about the Coursera course, the good and the bad, because there was a lot of bad. It was our first time working with these kinds of boards, and it was a lot of fun, but definitely needs a lot of work. So if you do go in there, there is a whole nother side of the 96 boards community inside that course. They have their own forums, their own discussions, and I try to do my best on there, but sometimes it's hard to keep up, with everything else that's going on. Definitely worth checking out. Oh, and I'm in the process of trying to get permission, because I have all of those videos, right, in raw form. I'm in the process of trying to get all of those videos to put on our YouTube, right? So we have like 500 videos, and the good ones, I want to kind of pick and choose the good ones and throw them on the 96 Boards YouTube. That will give you guys kind of a way to access it easier and for free. Deli, I hope I pronounced that right. Deli asked a question, and he says, you view the course without payment. However, you would not get a certificate. That is true. Yes. So if you take the course without paying for it, you don't get a certificate. I think also there's 6 courses, right? And so in January, we released the 5th course, and that was around multimedia. If you don't pay, you can't take the 6th course. And the 6th course was all about kind of developing a solar-powered or a self-sustainable 96 boards environment to build a surveillance system. So now, even though in the 6th course, I don't do that for you, but I do build the solar-powered station. I provide a bill of materials for getting the stuff, and then kind of it's up to you to use the previous 5 courses and the material you learn in the previous 5 courses to build your project out. You don't have to build a solar-powered surveillance system using 96 boards, but you do have to build something using the DragonBoard, and you have to, set yourself apart, right? So far, there's been some pretty cool stuff in there. But again, like I said, I haven't been able to keep up on it too much considering all the other stuff that's been going on. Great, yeah. And Siobhan just shared our YouTube channel down there. It's just youtube.com/96boards. Please subscribe. I mean, we're always pushing out new material, and with the idea of moving into 2017, I think I'm going to muster the courage to start sitting in front of the camera by myself and pushing out little tutorial videos. That was something I was going to say later on today, but I do plan on pushing out little bits of 96 Boards curriculum throughout the year. February, another big month. Actually, a big month because I was hired. February, I joined the team, and 96 Boards started to see a little bit of love on the documentation side of things, right? So I don't know if any of you were experiencing issues with being able to find anything, right? So we had the 96 Boards wiki, we had documentation on Arrow, documentation on Qualcomm Developer Network, which still kind of exists, right? But there was an effort to pull it all together and make it and consolidate it, right? So we consolidated it all under the 96 Boards GitHub. This is just github.com/96boards/documentation. And you can go there. And the coolest thing about this was that I worked with Siobhan on rendering this up into the website, right? So this gives you, the community, control over our website. Now, not to say we're not going to be, crucial in making sure that the commits people make are not screened properly. But if you find something wrong with our documentation or something wrong with a large section of our website even, you can go into our GitHub, you can fork the repository, you can make an edit, and then following our contribution policy, you can push that edit and we'll screen it and accept it, hopefully, accept your pull request. And then you've officially helped out the 96 Boards community. Everyone wins. Yeah, and Siobhan is posting
pull requests, Robert.
Daniel, what's up?
How often do you get pull requests? Because I mean, it's a great feature. I've sent you a pull request, but how many do you get?
So far, I think it's not very many pull requests. However, we do, I should say, from the community. So we do get quite a few pull requests, but not from the community. And this basically means that every time a new 96 board comes out, I pair up with one of the member companies. I create a private repository, and we just start hacking away at the templates that I've made. And so there's several templates that exist for the different editions: consumer, enterprise, IoT. I pull the template, I create a private one. The member companies goes in there and starts submitting pull requests, and then once it's all done, we push it into the 96 Boards documentation set. And so that's kind of the process. And with that said, I mean, 2017 is going to be crazy. We have so many boards coming out. It's basically, even the boards I have behind me aren't the boards that exist right now. There are more boards that exist right now. These are just the ones I have behind me that have been given to me, but there are more. And in 2017, we're going to see even more. I think Arrow's coming out with like 5 more, etc. I don't know. There's so many boards coming out, and to keep up, I don't know how I'm going to do it. So we'll see. I mean, every single time one of these boards come out, I have to work, with the members and make sure that all the documentation is coming in properly. And that's where you come in, the community. Oh man, if you guys were poking around the documentation, messing with these boards, then we would find the mistakes before, my boss does, which would be good. So yeah, that's always welcome. Yeah, so 96boards.org, and I think it's 96boards.org/documentation. That's the rendered version onto the website. And then there's github.com/documentation. Always welcome any sort of people who are willing to give me constructive criticism on the documentation. That was February, and then of course we released the 6th course, of course, or the 6th, course. The 6th course of the Coursera specialization. That's what it's called, the specialization, and that was the capstone project. Without that capstone project, and this is what Deli was saying, is that you can't get the certificate. And without paying for the 5 courses, you can't take the 6th course. At least that's from my understanding. So March, we're on to March. Now, I'm trying to give little spaces in between my talk because if people want to interrupt, but March, we released the now legacy reference platform 1603. And here I have, I'm just going to put a link to the blog here. I guess Christina and Chauvin both have access to this too. Let me see. But I'll post this one. Link to the blog. That blog release happened in March, and this was right around the exact same time that Lenaro Connect in Bangkok, Thailand was happening. And for those of you who aren't familiar with what Lenaro Connect is, you can read all about the Lenaro Connect that happened in Bangkok right here, because I actually have the link all set up. And now every link that I'm posting here is going to be available in this blog that I plan on releasing a few hours after the show. But this is just kind of interesting if you guys feel like poking around now. Every 6 months or so, Lenaro, our host company here, hosts a event, a very cool event, over 500 attendees every time, at least since I've been with the company, in some exotic, excuse my language, but awesome. I was gonna say another word. Awesome place in the world. Usually it's once in Asia or Europe, and then once in Western areas, United States, whatever. And this has given a great opportunity to explore the world of open source, because you get companies from all around the world that are all into this idea of open source. And there's keynotes every day. There's speakers nonstop throughout the entire day. You get to sign up to all sorts of so many cool things. And I mean, I will go on a limb to say that these are some of the smartest individuals in the entire world. And just to be in the same room with all these people is a privilege. It's so much fun. The food is great as well. Usually great amenities. And if you are interested, I would suggest checking out. It's just connect.lenaro.org without the BKK there. And you can see what's happening in our next Connect, which is coming up in March of this year. And that will be in Budapest, Hungary. So, tickets are on sale. You can register now. I don't know, last time in Las Vegas, we were able to invite some of our core community members from OpenHours. So I'm still kind of keeping an eye out. I don't know if we're going to be allowed to do that again this year. Of course, that doesn't include hotel and flight, right? But I'm still keeping an eye out for some core community members, because as far as I know, we do still plan on doing a live OpenHours in Budapest in March. And I would love to pick out some people who are involved with OpenHours heavily to sit on the panel. And that would basically, no guarantees, right? I still have to talk to someone, but it would be really cool if I was able to get one or two people from OpenHours in there to kind of sit on the panel. We'll see. No promises. What else happened? Well, we started to see cases come out, right? And I'm talking cases like just 3D printed cases for the 96 boards. This was when people started picking up their CAD programs and developing. David Mandala is one of them in the call right now. There was Akira Tsukamoto. He started editing off of the version that Michael Welling made. Michael Welling is also one of our big people here in OpenHours. And then we started seeing more from people from all over, even the member companies. I think Lawrence King released a really cool one. In fact, I have my box over there. Maybe I'll show it in a minute or in after hours. But these 3D printed cases started showing up. You go to Thingiverse and search 96 boards, or you can go to the 96 boards project page right there. I think you'll see a picture of David Mandala on the on the project. Cool. So that's pretty much. Oh wait, okay, we have one more here. Yeah, and then Daniel Thompson released the video. He's on the call. Daniel Thompson released a video on how to use the SSD 1306 OLED display. That was a pretty cool video. I never had the opportunity to go do it myself, only because I just never bought the piece. But he kind of walks you through getting this little display. I mean, this thing can be used for wearables, for probably medical applications, things like that, just to test out some cool stuff. So I thought that was a pretty cool video. You should check it out and leave some comments on what you think.
So I released a laser cut case design as well, but nobody seems to like that as much as the 3D printed ones. 3D printing is way cooler, apparently.
I think I think it's harder to get a laser cutter, isn't it?
Well, you mail order. It's easier to get mail order laser cut.
Oh,
If
okay.
you haven't got either, it's easier to find somebody with a laser cutter who runs it commercially than a commercial 3D printer.
Where can
But
we get where can we get your files? Do you have a link for us? For the
they're on GitHub. They're on GitHub.
are they on the 96 Boards GitHub or your GitHub?
They're on my GitHub.
Oh, if you wouldn't mind
Like
sharing.
you can see them on the video. I really love these cases, but but nobody else seems to like them as much as I do. What can I say?
I saw it.
Yeah, the laser cut cases are really cool. I think it's mostly because unless you go commercially, unless you got a big maker space like I've got in Dallas where we've got 2 laser cutters. I've actually got a 6-foot laser cutter, but that's a whole 6x4. But unless you're at like a major maker space, you have to go commercially, get your hands to a laser cutter. 3D printers are like popping up everywhere. But yeah, I like the laser cut cases. They're pretty nice.
I want to get a new supplier because I used to use Seed Studios, but they seem to have closed down their laser cutting service. Seed Studio did a fantastic, really cheap laser cut service, which is where I had all my stuff made, but they're not doing it anymore. So if anybody knows of any other cheap sources of laser cutting, I'd like to know. Because at the moment I've got redesign, because all my panels are designed for 10 by 10 centimeter panels. And
I'll have a look. I knew a couple places that were doing it, Daniel. The other thing is, if I can urge people, use OpenSCAD where you can, either for laser cut cases or 3D cases. OpenSCAD is really cool, and for programmers, it's nice because it's all math. It's very, very straightforward stuff.
That's actually some good advice on there. I mean, from what I've never had the opportunity to go in there yet, but from what I hear is you basically, like David said, it's just all math. You take the base shapes and you just add or subtract them from each other, right? So like, you know, a square minus a piece of a circle, and you get a rounded edge.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's C-like. It's not C. It's C-like, and there are some quirks, and I'm happy to talk about quirks in another conversation. But for a programmer, I'm an awful artist. I struggle with stick figures. I've been accused of even messing up stick figures. So giving me a mouse and telling me to draw a case, that's about as stupid a thing to do in the world as is possible, because you're not going to get anything that's going to actually be usable. But I can take a measuring tape measure or calipers, and I can measure something out and use OpenSCAD and come up with an actually really credible case. And you can do cool things with it, like add variables so that if one brand of printer tends to shrink things, another band of 3D printer tends to make them a little larger. And you can just adjust for it on the fly without having to be a genius or scale or stretch it in some CAD program. Anyway, enough about that, but it's a pretty cool piece of software, and it's free, so it's hard to argue with. OpenSCAD.
OpenSCAD,
yeah, take a look at that. That sounds because I found exactly that. When you're trying to adjust something by 0.5 mil in a GUI, I just have to keep going back and reading the tutorials over and over and over again.
Oh dear God! When I try to adjust something by 0.5 mil, or worse, if I draw it and there's a circle and I made a bolt hole right with a circle. In most of the CAD programs, moving that 0.5 mil is nearly impossible by dragging and dropping. Bizarre things happen. So at any rate, I gave up and I found OpenSCAD, and I'm like, I can do math. And it's not even hard math, right? You don't have to be a genius. You can just go at this spot, give me a circle, and then, I want to make it bigger or smaller, and you can adjust it. You don't have to drag a mouse and try to make something happen. Anyway, I'll shut up because Robert's got a lot of other cool stuff, but I really can't stress it enough. Good stuff.
Yeah, there's a like David said, OpenSCAD, but for those of you who are trying to just break into the whole designing part of things, even I'm not sure if you can do cases actually, David, but I know that there is the Geppetto from Gumsticks, and I was going to talk about this in a second when it was actually talked about for us, but
Geppetto's for boards. It's not for cases.
There you go. Okay, so then never mind. But you should still probably check out Geppetto because it's cool. So moving on, unless anyone else wants to keep talking about the cases, which I'm fine with. What else happened, right? So we have April. So in April, Lenaro and 96Boards attended the Embedded Linux conference in San Diego, the ELC San Diego, and that was a lot of fun. I actually got to go because I'm here in San Diego, so it made sense. There were also a bunch of other people from Lenaro there. I mean, David was there, Cohen. There's a bunch of cool people from Lenaro that we all had a bunch of fun and got to sit at the Lenaro booth. This will all be in the blog, but for this event, we actually released 3 other blogs talking about the event and with a bunch of pictures. There were several tweets. I got to play with the turtle bot. So there's a video on our Twitter, on 96Boards Twitter, and on my Twitter, at 96Boards and at SDRobertW if you're interested, where this little turtle bot with the Dragonboard 410C, I mean, just talking Dragonboard 410C running the robot OS, and it just follows you around. It's pretty cool. You walk up to it, it backs up. You walk away, it follows you. And I had a lot of fun with that. The Turtlebot is available. I don't have a link for it here readily, but you can search Turtlebot, and they're pretty expensive right now, but I think they just released the Turtlebot 2 or the Turtlebot 3, and it's a lot smaller and a lot cheaper. So it's definitely worth checking out, and you're capable of running it on 96Boards. Yeah, and Siobhan just shared that Twitter link there. So what else happened in April? This is where David can actually probably talk again to this, but we've talked several times on OpenHours about it. We've released blogs about it, but people still seem to not really grasp how awesome this is. And this is basically the GPIO control on 96Boards and the enablement of a variety of libraries. And this was when I started noticing it happen. If it happened before this, I'm pretty sure there was 96Boards GPIO library that existed, but the integration of all these other libraries happened around April. And David, I don't know, did you want to talk to that at all? Not sure, maybe you're muted, but feel free to interrupt if you do. The GPIO libraries, libmraa, libupm, and libsock. Libsock being one of the, at least, favorites of mine. You can basically go install these on your Debian Linux distribution from Lenaro and go into your terminal and just type sudo apt-get install libsock-dev. Sudo apt-get install libmraa-dev. And you can get access to these libraries. They set themselves up perfectly, and right off the bat, you're already able to control your GPIOs and your I2Cs. So there you go. So Siobhan just posted a blog there, but there's going to be plenty of information released in this blog that I'm going to push out today on where you have to go to get access to these instructions. And again, if you just go to the 96Boards GitHub repository under documentation, you'll also find your way to all sorts of really cool tutorials and stuff like that for that. Another really cool thing that happened was the release or the announcement of the Bubblegum 96. Now I have that one right here. It's this one, Bubblegum 96 running the Action Semi chip. This board in particular, I have a liking to because one of the people from UC Robotics is a good friend of mine, and he actually goes to all the connects that I've been to, and he shows off this really cool stuff. Now, things that their team works so hard at making these really cool demos and applications. I mean, what was it in Bangkok? They were using a Bubblegum 96 to run a 3D printer. They were literally printing out stuff off of a Bubblegum right there at Bangkok, and Bangkok Connect. And then in Las Vegas, they made a robot using the Bubblegum that used computer vision to detect and tell you what objects were. So you basically had the robot, and you would put, I don't know, a pen in front of it, and it would tell you that is a pen or a pen. And that was pretty cool. So this is all using 96Boards and interesting stuff. And this was when this came out. So it wasn't even that long ago, less than a year ago, April last year, we saw the Bubblegum. On to May. Now, on to May, we start to see Ubuntu Core surface. And this is because people are starting to pick up on this 96Boards movement. And let me remind you that 96 boards is new, right? I mean, we've only been around for a slightly over a year, right? Now you're starting to see all of these things happen where, you know, just the Dragon board alone is running, I think, 5 or 6 different operating systems. You can go there and pick and choose and throw it on there. So a question just came up on the chat. What does Linaro mean? And it means Linux and ARM. So it's a conglomerate. It's a mix, because back in the ARM days, people from ARM broke off and said, hey, you know what? We need something to unify these redundancies and this fragmentation in the upstream community. And so it was all organized. No one, you know, burned any bridges. It was all organized, and ARM is actually one of the biggest members of Linaro. So it was all part of the idea. And David probably knows more about this than I do. I don't know if David did. Oh, there you go. Linaro.com/about. I should have just sent you there. but yeah, you can read up on that. Linaro is Linux and ARM. And then the O, I don't know where the O comes from, but probably just some clever marketing. Cool. So yeah, Ubuntu core takes light. You see the Ubuntu core hit the high key. This is where the point was, right? So Ubuntu core hits the high key, and then it starts trickling into other boards. Now it's available on the Dragon board as well. I believe it's also available on the Bubblegum. So later on, you'll see throughout the year, Ubuntu core hits high key, then it hits Dragon board, then it hits Bubblegum, or I think Bubblegum came first. Either way, you see a lot of these operating systems start to pick up. Next. This is my favorite one, right? So what happened in May? Well, OpenHours started, right? Which means we'll be coming up on our 1-year anniversary in, I don't know, 5 months. So still got a while. But OpenHours started in May with our first episode. And if you want to go to the OpenHours playlist, you can go dig up the first episode. And this is the OpenHours playlist right here. The first episode, I mean, I was in my office upstairs. It was a mess. I looked like a goober. I probably still do, but I mean, it was the first time doing anything like this, and I mean, it was exciting. I was really nervous, so you know, take a look. A lot of fun. I'm glad it's made it this far. I'm glad there's still, I mean, 26 people on the call listening and participating in this. But that was when it started. We originally wanted to pair this show with. We originally wanted to pair, yeah, and then I had a little tiny sticker. Then I moved down here, and you got to see like my living room. And then after that, I just put a little tiny Linaro sticker above my head. And if you trace through the the videos, you'll start to see this all evolve. Now I have penguins that Mark Bolzern sent me. I was going to introduce them at the end of the show. Penguins that Mad Dog gave me, a GNU that Mad Dog gave me. This thing right here that Natalia gave me from home office in the US, and then this board that I started putting together. Anyways, it's obviously changed a lot, and it's been a lot of fun doing this. So yeah, if you wanted to check out the playlist, feel free, go ahead. The show originally released with the idea of pairing it with a blog each week. Turns out that's a lot of work, and so we stopped doing the blogs each week. But come now 2017. There's a big announcement, and that is the new weekly digest mailing list. And I'll give that link out in a bit, unless Siobhan wants to share it right now or Christine. But this weekly digest is something that I can actually handle. It's not a huge blog. This is a digest that's going to include a lot of really fun stuff. You're going to get announcements. Announcements. You're going to get guest pieces. Mad Dog, people have already signed up for putting in guest pieces. You're going to get funny or cool or interesting pictures of the week around 96 boards. You'll get any sort of news, press releases, things that have happened throughout the week. And then you might get sneak peeks into contests, giveaways, or any other fun stuff that we have going on around OpenHours and 96 boards in general. So the weekly digest, short, sweet, to the point, not a lot of information for you to digest, right? It's just going to be a weekly little blurb that that you should all have fun with, I hope. All right, so on to June. I might be skipping some of these things, but oh yeah, I guess this one's a fun one. I don't know if you all have heard of fritzing. it's a free program for you to kind of diagram or put out little circuit diagrams, right? So fritzing, it's Fritzing. Here's a blog on this, and this was written by Riccardo Salvetti. And this basically, I remember using fritzing over a year ago for the Dragonboard 410C, and you couldn't find anything. You couldn't find any 96 boards components on there. Well, lo and behold, here comes Riccardo Salvetti, and he makes a 96 boards component. So now you can actually import the package, and you can pull a 96 boards onto your diagram, and you can start branching off wires and creating your breadboard circuit. So that's pretty cool. From that blog, you're able to download the package and integrate it into your fritzing program. It's very cool. I've already used it, a lot of fun. Now, if this existed back when we created the Coursera course, we would have been able to do a lot more fun stuff. All right, June, you see the reference platform 1606. This is also now legacy. You can check out the blog when I release this blog with all this other stuff. Another one is Arrow announces the IMX7 dual 96 board. This one I don't believe has been released yet. However, I think it will be hopefully coming out soon. This is just more 96 boards that should be hitting the market, and you can take a look at that one, NXP on there. We start to see more OpenHours stuff, the blogs. Can you explain more about the reference platform? Yes, so actually, this might be a good chance to forward people to the platforms page. I'm not sure what you think about that, Siobhan. But reference platform, and I hope I get this right because it's always changing, but the reference platform is kind of your foundation in creating, building around particular components of software, i.e. you could have certain components like the kernel, the user space, anyways, basically you have the three different platforms, which is Consumer Edition, IoT Edition, and you have the Enterprise Edition. So they're all going to kind of be different in a way, right? So I'm trying to explain this in a general way, but it's pretty tough. But if you go to our website in platforms.lenaro.org, you will see a description. Did I type that in wrong? Platforms.lenaro.org. I'm sorry. Platforms.lenaro.org. You mean transfer how? So basically, yes, and they use the right words here. So yeah, it's an open software stack that allows you to showcase the available ARM optimizations through validation in a series of hardware platforms. So basically, there are hardware platforms that are tested, and there are hardware platforms that are not tested. And if you use one of the hardware platforms that are tested, then it's guaranteed that this software will work. However, there's also the opportunity to integrate your hardware into the reference platform. So, as this idea evolves more, there will be instructions and ways for you to bring a board that doesn't already exist in the reference platform and integrate it in there by adding, basically adding a new target and getting it set up in there. Right. So I didn't got me on the spot there. I didn't plan on talking about reference platform because there's still a lot of things in the air around that. But I would suggest visiting platforms.lenaro.org. Right now, you can kind of check out what the format will be. Right now, all you can see is enterprise stuff, but you will eventually see consumer edition stuff. So the boards that maybe most of you are working with right now, which would be the consumer edition boards, there will also be reference platform software for that. And you could jump into that. All right, moving on with that. I think we're in June. So you got to see the new board. Arrow released a blog, and it's funny because they took credit for this blog, but I wrote it. And anyways, 96 Boards team wrote it actually, and not just me. But that blog right there, pretty cool. Basically talking a lot about 96 boards and future-proofing the industry with the standardization. And I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was interesting, and I think it's a good read. The Gumsticks, a member of 96 Boards, announces the Aero Core 2. Now, this is our first drone board at a very decent price because you can go around there and and search the internet for drone boards, drone development boards, and you're going to spend $1,000. You know, I think minimum $800, right? But this AeroCore 2 just pops right on top of your 96 boards. It's been tested with the Dragon board, but I mean, I've been told that it should work with the rest of the 96 boards. Pops right on top and allows you to create a drone. Now, how cool would it be if you were able to see this in action? Well, you can, because we made a video. We did an open hours. We interviewed Keith Lee from Gumsticks, which is one of their engineers there. And this is the video on YouTube. I think it's at about minute 40. You'll see it take off. But you can watch Keith Lee walk you through the entire process of him building it all out. And then there was a blog that was released on 96 Boards that shows you the bill of materials and instructions on how to recreate this. So if you want to build a $225 base set drone, right? So $225 for the Dragon board and the G2 Umin module parameter. I'm not sure. Oh, maybe that was for a question up there. Either way, you can go build your drone for like, I think it's like $350 yourself, and you know, write home to your family and friends and tell them that you made your own drone. Take pictures and then send them to us. If you do that, take pictures and send them to us, because we would love to feature them on 96 Boards. It'd be cool to see what you guys are up to if you do any things like this. Yeah, so more blogs were released. We get some more members with 96 Boards. Thundersoft joins the team, and then Qualcomm announces their Maker of the Month contest winner. So you'll have links to all this kind of stuff when I release this blog later on today. July, we're only halfway through the year. I'm gonna kind of speed this up because you're gonna get access to all this. But in July, you start to see a bunch of releases, a bunch of press releases talking about all these different boards that are coming out. The MediaTek X20 starts to get talked about, which is also up here and available on Seed Studio. You can go SEED studio.com, find the MediaTek X20 board. Very cool, runs Android, very fairly powerful processor, SoC. It's a Deca Core tri-cluster SoC. So you can also find out more about that on the 96 Boards website as well. Lawrence King releases his 3D printed case, which, I mean, is pretty amazing. If you go buy this little 5-inch HDMI monitor screen that's also powered by your 96 Boards, you pop your 96 Boards into the base station in this little case, and then it has the screen. You pop that into a case, and then they attach and they pivot. You can literally fit it in your pocket, pull it out, and then plug it in, and you have a fully functional, portable 96 Boards workstation, right? It's pretty cool. So yeah, more 3D printed cases start coming out. You can check out Thingiverse again, like I said. And OpenHours celebrates its 3rd month on the air. So that was a lot of fun. More things happen in August. Again, you start to see a lot more announcements. I mean, every month it basically is growing exponentially on the amount of press releases and people blogging about 96 Boards, talking about it. You start to see comparison tables on HackerBoard and on actually, since David's here, I'll tell you, hey, I accidentally took your magazines at Connect and never gave them back to you. Here they are. But you start to see things like this. I mean, right now you have the comparison of the high key with a variety of other SPCs that are on the market. And guess who wins? The high key wins. Of course, the high key wins. So you can pick up even Raspberry Pi magazines, and they're comparing 96 Boards to their own board, and the high key wins. So, you know, again, while the 96 Boards might not be for the average elementary school student, it's definitely for the college student and the developer, as well as the hardcore enthusiast and maker, because it can handle anything current day, anything. Great. So yeah, you start to see some cool stuff like that. Archermind joins. Archermind, they're the ones who are helping with the MediaTek X20. They joined the 96 Boards team, and Qualcomm launches their 2nd season of the Invent Off. And again, you'll have all these links. Inventoff was like a 6-part series where they give these two teams, they call them the red team and the blue team, they give them a dragon board and they say, come up with some cool idea, and then we're going to bring some judges in and we're going to judge what you made. And it's a pretty interesting series, actually. They're not that long either, so it's very cool. Then you have David Mandala talking about more blogs. These are all things that you can find there. High Silicon releases the Poplar. And I know there's been a lot of controversy around this because there hasn't necessarily been the right software available or source code. There's been issues brought up on GitHub and forums, but they are coming around, and we should start to see some action. And I don't know if anyone's on the call that can speak to this, but I'm trying to work with them currently to get their documentation in order. So if that's any consolation to the Poplar user, then I hope that helps. But we will be focusing on this heavily in the beginning of 2017. Let's see here. Yeah. Jorge Ortiz, he's in the call. He blogs about KVM, and then he's a guest on OpenHours and talks about his blog. So you can find that link as well on our blog section in September on 96Boards. David blogs about mezzanine boards. OpenHours launches its 3-part series. Oh yeah, because in September we have our second Connect of the year, and this was in Las Vegas. And this, I feel like it was just yesterday, honestly, but I guess it was quite a while ago. This was our first attempt at doing a live show in front of both a global audience and a studio audience, I guess you could call it. I don't know. Anyways, we had people in the audience live, and then we also had people in the audience on Blue Jeans. And it was interesting. We did a 3-part series leading up to this, where we kind of did an unboxing of the Dragon Board 410C. Then we did a demo with Lawrence King, which is one of the original creators or one of the original team members that created the Dragon Board 410C. And then we raffled off 10 Dragon Boards. And we hope to do something similar to this in the next Connect coming up. We'll see what kind of things our sponsors want to throw out to us, but you never know. So hopefully you all stick around and we can do some cool giveaways like that again. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, so Venaro takes over Las Vegas, and the IoT edition board Carbon is announced. So I know that the 96Boards team did a lot of work on this. They did a demo at Connect. There's some very cool videos, and I'm going to share, unless Siobhan already shared, I'm not sure, but I want to share the link to where is that? Connect, link to event descriptions. Okay, yeah, so it's basically connect.lenaro.org/LAS16, and right there, you can find all the videos that I'm talking about, as well as the keynote where our CEO announces the Carbon board, and then some of our people here, I think it was Tyler Baker and Ricardo Salvetti. Amit was on the team. There was a lot of people that did a lot of really hard work on this demo, and it's pretty cool stuff. So I would suggest checking out the videos. More announcements. Talks about MediaTek X20. Yang, our director of 96Boards, talks about the future of 96Boards. All of that is available in that link where you can check out all sorts of cool videos. Then, what else happened? Well, Linus Torvalds actually paid a visit to Lenaro Connect this time. I don't think that's happened, at least since I've been here, and that was really cool. David Rustling had a fireside chat with him. You can actually find that video. I'm going to share that video right here. That was, I think, on the last day of the Connect, and it was interesting. There was a lot of good things said there. Interesting things said there. Yes. In October, I pretty much have like 15 things there, but I mean, lots of announcements. Again, another board was announced, the FQ by Fujitsu. I'm not sure if you can buy that yet, but there is the board, and then there are also some connectors, the mezzanine products that they threw out as well, which integrates a Ethernet port as well as some other cool things that you can pop on there. Whether it's made available yet, I'm not sure, but when it is, or when I find out where you can get it, I will definitely be sharing it with you. In November, we launch a community survey. We find out all the cool things that you guys are interested in as a community, and we analyze the data, and then we spit it back out in a blog. So cool blogs out there still. You can go find that out. And then this is when the weekly digest mailing list was announced. And I want to share this again with everyone, but basically it's 96boards.org/newsletter/digest. And if you go there and you sign up, it would be really cool. We're in the hundreds now of people that are subscribed. We want to be in the thousands, and it's not necessarily just to bombard you with spam. This is stuff that's interesting. You know, this is stuff that your colleagues and your community colleagues are doing. So I do commission anyone that's interested. Not financially commission, but motivationally commission you. If you are interested in sharing anything you're working on, please contact me at robert.wolf. That's wolf with 2 F's, so robert.wolf@lenaro.org. With any guest pieces, like if you want to be on the mailing list and you want to share something that you're passionate about, please forward it to me. We'll talk about it and we'll get you sent out, to the masses. This is your community. It's not mine. It's everyone's. So we want to make sure that you're heard, and we want to make sure that your ideas get out there and your passion is strong. Now, December was basically vacation for everyone. Everyone takes December off. So I think we worked the first week and then everyone's just like, bye. So not much happened in December. I was still around. We had the Christmas special with Mad Dog Hall. And that was fun. It was long, a lot of fun. He talked about SBCs in general. And from that, we actually plan on, hopefully, if Mad Dog will allow us, we would love to have him join us in future episodes, of course, but make a little mini series out of that content, because we realized that it was a lot of content to cover all at once. And so I think we're going to try to get that broken down into little sections so it's more easily digested. And then, of course, we also had Andy Clark from Workshop Shed demo one of his projects that he's been working on. It's like a dragon detector. So he uses Dragon Board 410C. You break a PIR sensor, and then it uses computer vision to detect whether or not you are a dragon. So if you are worried about dragons breaking into your house at any time, I would definitely try building this one, because it will save you and your family. But you can also set it to detect bad people too. So, facial recognition and stuff like that. Takes a picture, sends it to your cell phone. All right. Yeah, so looks like Vishu brings up, I see most of the boards does not have Ethernet port. I would guess this would ease software testing. So none of the boards have an Ethernet port. It's just not in the spec, right? However, some of the chips are capable of hosting an Ethernet port, right? Which means that you might start to see Ethernet ports show up in the future. What can we say to this? That means that the consumer edition boards have two types of sizes, right? You have the regular size and you have the extended size. Now, currently, we haven't seen many extended versions come out, other than one called the 600 ST Eval from Aero. But you'll start to see more of these surface. I'm pretty sure you will. And these extended boards do incorporate an Ethernet port in most cases. Problem is that not all chips, because these are in some cases SoCs that are used in the mobile market, they don't have the capabilities of hosting Ethernet, right? Now, that's not to say that you couldn't put in a USB to Ethernet converter, which is totally possible. Might not get the speed you want, but it's possible. And then some of our boards have 3.0, which boosts that up a bit, right? Like Bubblegum has 3.0. But when these extended boards start to come out with their Ethernet ports on them, because the chips are capable of having an Ethernet, well, then you'll start to see more of that. Also, you just never know. Maybe they'll just use some of the USB ports to host an Ethernet port, just like the Raspberry Pi does. The Raspberry Pi Ethernet port is not a true Ethernet port either. It's off of a USB. So common misconception there.
Robert, point of order. The consumer boards don't have Ethernet. The server boards, which there are some in production, do. So you do need to be specific. It's the consumer edition boards that have Wi-Fi only, unless they're in the extended footprint. Just to make sure we're clear on that.
Yeah, so David's absolutely right. However, there is, I think, one exception, and that is the Fujitsu FQ. So the Fujitsu FQ SoC does support an Ethernet, and their high-speed expansion header is what breaks that out, which is why they sell I think it's like a $200 mezzanine card that you can pop on that brings out a true Ethernet. So that is one exception, and I'm not saying we're going to see more of those happen, but you know, David is absolutely right. You're not going to really see that unless it's an extended board. Is that right, David? Right around there?
Pretty much. I mean, you'll see. You know, you got the USB dongles. This one board has its own dongle with Ethernet, but basically the consumer edition isn't pushing that unless you go to the extended format, and then you can add it. You can also do SPI Ethernet. It won't be super fast, but you can take the SPI port and drive a SPI Ethernet chip. It's been done. There's ways to do it, but in general, these boards aren't targeting Ethernet per se. So if you really need it, just grab a USB dongle. It's quick and easy.
Yeah. So Vishu asked that is USB to Ethernet work on these boards, and that's a yes. I mean, essentially, you just plug the USB in, plug the Ethernet in, it should be fine. In fact, there's a Braxis. Braxis is on the call here. I think she set up a Beowulf system using the Dragon boards, and you were having issues with the Wi-Fi. I don't know if you want to speak up. You don't have to if you don't want to. But you built a Beowulf system, and I was hopefully going to have you demo that sometime this year. We can talk separately. She's also in San Diego, so it'll be fun. Maybe she can demo her Beowulf Dragonboard 410C system. She's there. Yes, happy to demo it coming up soon. Cool. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we were talking. She had issues with the Wi-Fi. She used the USB dongle to Ethernet. Things started working. Either way, let's leave that. Unless you want to help out with anything possible, it does work. Will be cool demo. So hopefully we can have her on the show as our featured guest sometime in the near future. So that's pretty much it. All the way through December. Oh, one last thing, I guess. You have the another board that was announced, and this is the B2260 from ST. Now, this board is not available for sale, but you can go check it out on the website. If you are a developer that's interested in acquiring this board, there are avenues that you can take. And basically, if you go to the website, you can see that there's a way, I think, a form that we set up for you to go fill out and give various bits of information. And if they feel that they can send you a board, then they will. I don't think they want to even charge you for it. They just want to make sure that you are in the developer world and going to be helping develop on that board. So yeah, again, so there you go. You're starting to see more of these boards come out. I think there's like a list of like 96 of them. So a list of 96 boards that will be coming out eventually. But yeah, does anyone have any questions around what was discussed today? Nothing? Great. So looking forward to 2017, 96 boards is kind of going to go a little crazy because things are taking off, and I'm pretty sure, as you are aware, we do have a lot of stuff on our plate, but we also have a great community behind us, and we look forward to sharing all of this stuff with you throughout the year. Just a little bit of information of what's coming up and what's on my plate is that this month I will be participating in a very cool hackathon at my alma mater, UC San Diego. We're going to be doing all sorts of cool Dragonboard 410C stuff. I will be sharing all sorts of tweets on 96 boards on my own Twitter. We'll be writing blogs. We'll be showing projects, hopefully getting some maybe I can pick up some students there and have them demo the cool stuff that they came up with during the hackathon. So that's exciting. Next month, we have another hackathon going on, and both of these 96 boards gets a booth, right? I mean, like, it's going to be really fun. I'm going down to Mexico, and we're going to be sponsoring a hack at the Tecnológico de Monterrey. Over 150 students around smart cities. Again, we're going to have 96 boards present there. and lots of cool stuff to share with you guys. Hopefully we can write up all sorts of instruction sets. One of the cool things that we did with this hackathon in Mexico is that anyone who wants to participate in the hackathon has to submit their final project to Instructables. This is a very cool thing because that means that everything they create will be offered to you all to recreate, right, and build upon. So we're very excited about that hackathon, and again, you'll start to see all sorts of cool stuff surface. And we hope that this will continue throughout the entire year. All sorts of fun activities. Open hours will keep you entertained throughout the rest of the year. So unless anyone else has anything else to add, I mean, I know there's a lot of people in here. It looks like some stuff is popping up. Yeah, so there you go, instructables.com/member/96boards. I don't know if we're going to be able to host them under 96boards, but it might be under 96boards or it might be under Qualcomm. I'm not sure. Either way, we'll try to get all that cool stuff there. Yes, Amit just brought up, I'm not sure if I'm missing some of the stuff before that. However, we did not talk about the Nadana and the Radium. So Gumsticks released 2 other 96 boards. However, these ones aren't running ARM, they're running Intel, the Intel Joule. So you can go to the Gumsticks website, you can search for Nodana, Nodana, or Radium, Radium, and you can get these boards, and then you can go to Intel and buy the chip and plug it on there, right? So, I mean, that doesn't necessarily fall under the 96 board scheme, but they are available and they're out there, and you know, there's no stopping the machine if that means anything. But yeah, so yeah, for everything else you'll have to wait for announcements. Now, again, if anyone has anything else to say, I'm going to close this out. We're going to move into after hours. So to everyone or anyone. All right. So close this out, move into after hours. It's been a pleasure. To everyone, a happy and prosperous new year of 2017. Please stay in touch with 96 boards. Your community is here. It's you, and we look forward to working with every single one of you throughout this year. So yeah, take care. Thank you very much. Tune in next week.